Hello and welcome. My name is Brian Bryson, and I'm the Director of Event Content and Experiences here at MIT Technology Review. In preparation for EmTech Next, our annual Future of Work event in partnership with Harvard Business Review, I've had the pleasure of meeting with every one of our speakers to discuss their talks and topics, and I'm here now to give you a rundown of what I think will be the key moments during the conference. But before we look at what they're going to tell you, I want to take a minute to look at what you told us. So when you registered, we asked you, what's the #1 workforce issue on your radar? And this word cloud represents the most common words you used. You've come here to hear about the technologies and solutions driving digital transformation and the future of work as we begin to step out of the shadows of a global pandemic. And that's why our conference theme this year is back to work, but not back to normal. The workforce has been disrupted, the workplace relocated, and this requires all of us to redefine how work gets done. And so here's how we're going to try and help you out. So each day we're going to focus on one theme and provide 3 different perspectives on that theme. So Tuesday we're talking about strategy. Our partners at Harvard Business Review have assembled a roster of really cutting-edge CEOs that are changing how business is done. They're going to talk about the new social responsibilities of business, critical issues such as diversity, equity, and inclusion, and how the lessons learned through the pandemic are shaping their organizations moving forward. W is for Wednesday, and W is for workforce. And we start strong, tackling the question about how to keep a workforce up to speed with technology that moves faster than our abilities to adapt. We're also going to tackle the question of what does the new hybrid office look like, and what tech is it going to take to make that work. And then finally on Thursday, we're going to get geeky. We start the day off talking about robots and some fascinating research going on into human-robot interaction. Then we're going to dive into AI, which is doing great things to improve manufacturing productivity and the retail experience, so long as you're willing to give up just a fraction more of your privacy. And we close with a fantastic wrap-up session that's really going to boil everything down to a playbook for reinvention. So to dig into all of these issues, we've lined up over 50 speakers, and it would be absolutely overwhelming to try and get into each session. So what I've done is chosen highlight moments from each theme that for some reason or other piqued my interest. And so call this a director's cut of EmTech Next. So let's dive in. On Tuesday, we're talking strategy, beginning with a conversation between Harvard Business Review's editor-in-chief, Audie Ignatius, and former Unilever CEO, Paul Polman. They're going to tackle the question of what it means to be a socially responsible business. Now, for many organizations, this is a new approach, but under Paul's direction, Unilever has lived this philosophy for over a decade. Paul literally wrote the book on the subject, and he published it last October. It's entitled Net Positive: How Courageous Companies Thrive by Giving More Than They Take. And it really outlines his philosophy behind his new venture, Imagine One, which empowers CEO to put people and the planet before profits. This man is a pioneer, and I know you're going to leave this session inspired to change. Ken Fraser, CEO of Merck, is also trying to make a change with the 110 plan. So the 110 plan combines the power of American companies to upskill, hire, and promote 1 million Black Americans over the next 10 years into family-sustaining jobs with opportunities for advancement. It's a practical and aggressive approach to tackling diversity and economic equality in America's Black population. And finally, we close the day looking forward by looking back. We're going to talk to former IBM CEO Ginny Rometty about what she learned leading a 400,000 person organization through a pandemic and how that's shaping the way IBM is going to operate moving forward. One of the more interesting comments she made while we were preparing was that in an America that is so politically divided, it has fallen on business to be the voice of the middle. It's an arguably unfair position to be put in, but it is the new reality. And we'll hear about how she chose when and when not to raise IBM's voice on social issues. And all of that is only in the first day. So Workforce Wednesday is where we'll wander into the issues of the worker and the workplace. And we're starting with a whopper, the race to reskill. So the speed of technological change has outpaced our human ability to adapt. And that gap is only increasing. So we've brought in edX founder and CEO Anant Agrawal to help us dive into the issue. edX, if you're not familiar, is a partnership between MIT, Harvard, and over 150 other universities that offers free online education to anyone willing to engage. So far, over 35 million users have taken over 110 million courses through edX. And Anant believes that online micro-certifications are really our only hope to keep up. One of my favorite calls was with Jordan Goldstein, the global design director at architectural firm Gensler. He has some absolutely fascinating thoughts about redesigning our physical work environment towards the goal of equalizing the remote and the on-site employee. So I walked into the conversation with Jordan, expecting his focus to be all about physical office layouts. But I was really surprised how much of his work is about designing a hybrid digital/physical office. It truly is the wave of the future, and he has some great examples how organizations are making these changes today. And that brings us to Linda Aiello, Employee Success Business Partner, Salesforce. We invited Linda because back in February, Salesforce announced that their employees can work anytime from anywhere. It's a bold move from an organization with 50,000 employees. And Linda is going to tell us about the empirical research behind the decision, how they plan to make it work, the benefits thereof, and how they expect this to be the new normal. And I think this trend is here to stay, and organizations that don't get on board really risk losing their staff to employers that offer more flexibility. And that brings us to Thursday, where we're talking tech. We start off talking to Julie Shaw from the Interactive Robots Group of MIT's Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Lab, CSAIL for the familiar. We've asked Julie to speak at several conferences, but the schedules have never really permitted until now. So I'm feeling really lucky to have her on the agenda. What I think you're going to find interesting is that Julie's talk is about teaching robots to interact with humans. So, and we're talking about reading nonverbal cues and interpreting intent. So in manufacturing today, most robotics has been like an army of robots working independently without human interaction. But the next generation of robots will need to work with humans. And accordingly, they'll need to understand our intentions, whether expressed verbally or non-verbally. Then we're going to talk about the use of AI in the workplace. So Prasad Akella is founder and CEO of Drishti, an organization that uses AI to analyze manufacturing video to pinpoint variability and bottlenecks in the manufacturing process. So Prasad is going to tell you that video is the next sensor. And if a picture is worth 1,000 words, video is worth 1,000,000. He's going to talk about how they're using AI to analyze video within a manufacturing environment. And hopefully we'll get into some of their AI operations processes, which have reduced their AI model training time from 6 to 8 hours down to 6 to 8 months down to 24 to 48 hours. And finally, we started the conference with an author, and we're bookending the conference with another. Hubert Joly is the former CEO of Best Buy and the author of The Heart of Business, Leadership Principles for the Next Era of Capitalism. Hubert is going to share how the mindset that turned Best Buy around can be applied as a framework for leadership for the next decade of capitalism. He's going to talk about how we need to radically rethink how we view work, how we define companies, how we motivate, how we lead, and how profits need to be thought of as an outcome, not a goal. Okay, I got one last thing before I let you go, and that's the MIT Inside Track. There are 25 to 30-minute breaks in between our main stage sessions as we move speakers in and out, and you've got two options. You can grab a coffee, check email, maybe move your laundry from the washer to the dryer, or you can sit in on one of our MIT Inside Track sessions. So the Inside Track sessions invite MIT and Harvard professors and researchers to come talk about key issues in the workforce today. So some of these are live, some are pre-recorded. And for anything pre-recorded, we have the speaker available in the online chat to answer any of your questions. It's a great opportunity to interact with researchers on the leading edge. So some of the highlights this year are Brian Anthony, who's a fascinating guy who will be talking about how we can enhance our understanding of the physical world with ambient monitoring technology. Aaron Kelly is going to talk to us about a topic that is all too familiar to many of us, and that's employee burnout. And Seidal Neely is going to talk to us about how to make hybrid work. And then quickly, for our all access pass holders, we'll have 2 discussion groups on Wednesday and Thursday mornings where you can fully participate through video chat on discussions around the upside of upskilling and workforce ecosystems, which is a new approach to work and workplace design that optimizes for engagement. So limited seating for these 2 sessions, so reserve your spot and come prepared to share in this interactive experience. And that's our conference. I hope that you're now looking forward to it as much as I am. I'd encourage you at this point to go explore our conference website, build up your agenda for the 3 days. Make sure to check out the library where we've posted speaker presentations and other materials that they've provided for you, and fill in your profile. The site offers the ability for attendees to connect with one another. So take advantage of the opportunity to meet some of the people facing the same challenges that you are. I'm Brian Bryson, the Director of Event Content and Experiences here for MIT Technology Review. On behalf of the entire MIT Technology Review team, thank you for joining us for this conference, and we hope you enjoy the show.